Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody. Who would like the first question for Amanda? Go ahead.
Hi, Amanda. Do you know much about your first round opponent? And if not, will you and your team be looking at some match footage to try and see what her game's like and then create strategy?
Yeah, I don't know too much about her. For sure, me and my tennis coach will discuss her game and probably watch some film of hers just so I don't go into the match not knowing anything. But yeah, she qualified, so I'm sure she's playing great. And yeah, we'll go over that soon.
Sorry, just quick one. Sorry. How important is it to focus on your opponent more than yourself when you do create that strategy? Is it more about focusing on what you want to do?
Yeah, I'd say it's always, you try to focus on what you're doing first, and then also to know kind of their tactics and what their strengths and weaknesses are very important. But I think focusing on yourself and what you plan to do is always much more important, at least for me. I think it probably depends on the player, but yeah, I try to just focus on my game and what I know I need to do, and then factor in how it pans out with whoever I'm facing.
Hello, welcome back.
Thank you.
After what happened last year, the great ride to the final and then the disappointment of the final, I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times, but what were your thoughts when you first came back through the gates and your first practice session?
Yeah, I was excited to be back and obviously had a lot of memories from last year, more positive ones than negative. I mean, making my first slam final was very special, so definitely wasn't overshadowed by the final in any way. But yeah, I was really happy to be back and lots of great memories. As I said, it feels really nice to be here. Apart from even making the final, I think anyone who comes to Wimbledon and steps out to practice for the first time, they're feeling great, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here and to be competing. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Go ahead, next question.
This is more of like a general question, but in terms of like scheduling tournaments leading up to a Grand Slam, some players will play like the week before, some take the week, I guess, off in terms of preparing. I guess, what do you find more advantageous for you, and does it change depending on the surface of the Grand Slam?
No, it doesn't change for me. I'm someone who doesn't like to play a tournament the week before a Grand Slam. I like to train at the courts here, get as many practice sets in as I can to kind of simulate as if I was playing a tournament, but I like to be in the conditions of the Grand Slam right before. And yeah, I think if I were to play a tournament, then if I play, I give all my energy and effort, and I feel like one tournament can take a lot from you, and then going straight into a Grand Slam, it can be very difficult and physically demanding on the body. So yeah, I always choose to just train the week before.
Next question.
And kind of on scheduling, was it always the plan to go back to the States after Queens, or like, can you just talk us through that kind of this grass court season you've had?
Yeah, no, it wasn't really the plan. I feel like the last few months have been pretty hard for me with my injury and just being in Europe with the injury and not really competing for the majority of it. I think it was sort of taxing on me a little bit. And yeah, I was dealing with some stuff, so it was important for me to go back for my physical and mental health. It's only 5 days, and honestly, I felt so much better physically and mentally after going back home, but it really wasn't the plan. I mean, buying a flight just to come back in 5 days when you're going to come back after Wimbledon, yeah, no, it wasn't. But sometimes you just have to make those decisions for yourself, and yeah, I'm happy I did that. So yeah, and I've also been training a lot, so it's fine.
Matt.
And how has your training in preparation for this year changed at all, or is it exactly the same as what you were doing last year? Have you? I guess what I'm saying is, like, have you tried to be like, oh well, I'm just going to do everything I did last year exactly the same because that worked pretty well, or is it different now because you've evolved both as a player and physically?
Yeah, that's a good question. If only I could remember what I did last year. I feel like I don't even remember what I did 2 weeks ago. But no, when I look back and I hear feedback from my team, I feel like I've been evolving a lot as an athlete. I think my stamina and my capacity has improved a lot. I feel like I'm training a lot more than I was last year, and month to month, I feel like I'm able to handle more. Especially last year being my first year, really, it was the first time I think I did like a whole season and played a lot of tournaments in a year, and maybe kind of set me back a little bit this year. I don't know, with my wrist, if my body's just getting used to that, playing a lot. But I feel like I'm able to withstand a lot more physically on the court, and I don't get as tired as I used to when I compare at least my practices now to around this time last year. I feel like, yeah, I don't get as tired, and it's a sign that all my work is paying off. But when it comes to the things that I focus on, they've pretty much stayed the same. Just trying to tweak a few things here and there that I feel like my game could improve in. And then also kind of expanding my game. I don't want to just be an only aggressive player. I want to be able to come into the net and use slices. So I've been trying to do more of that.
When it comes to variables like heat, and also I know some players have been talking about the fact that different grass court tournaments, the grass plays a bit differently as well. Do you tinker with things like string tension and equipment and how you approach those tournaments and the conditions, or is it quite similar, like how you would approach it, these different tournaments, these conditions?
Yeah, I'd say it's quite similar for the most part. For me, I think I normally only tweak like my string tension a little bit, whether it's really hot or if it's really cold. That's really only the factor I normally consider. I don't feel much of a difference with the grass courts, except for if I need to stay a bit lower, if the grass is higher, that's the only thing. But no, I don't really like overthink those parts too much. Yeah.
Don't find it really affects your game much, whether it's a bit hotter, like at Wimbledon, it's been quite hot. Some of the players have been talking about that hasn't really affected you, you don't find?
No, I mean, the weather's always going to be different. And there are just like so many things that are different day to day, and things that you're just going to have to adjust to. And I think adjusting to them quickly without overthinking it is the easiest way to go about it.
Here in the middle.
Hi, Amanda. It was so nice to see you get all the way to the final last year at Wimbledon. It was, I mean, I know like people from the
Thank you.
Philippines really loved it. But I was just wondering, like approaching this Wimbledon in terms of all your, you said you've been through a lot the last 2 months. What is there? Do you have like a general like mental mindset that you're like focusing on, like to be able to approach this and hopefully do as well or even better this year?
For me, the number one thing is just to enjoy every single day. I feel like since I came back from Miami a week ago, I've been a lot happier and just enjoying every single day as it comes, and the training and just the simple things every day. And I think that I thrive when that's kind of my approach, and that's how I feel within myself, is just if I'm happy every day. And yeah, if I just enjoy the process and trust the process, I don't really think too much about anything else, honestly. I just look forward to tomorrow and then again the next day, and I'm not thinking too far into the future. And I'm healthy, I'm in a good place, so I'm just looking forward to my first round, but I don't really think beyond that.
Any further questions? Yes.
Late, but did you speak about your new coaching arrangement with Sachs?
No, I haven't spoken yet about it.
Yeah, can you kind of talk about that a little bit and what you think he's bringing to the table?
Yeah, he's been great. I've really enjoyed working with him the last few months. I feel like we've been getting as much as we can out of myself in the practice and the training sessions, and he's been helping me a lot with the technical side of things and also tactically, and he's been helping me stay calm, which is great. But yeah, I've really been enjoying working with him, and he's a great guy and also really knowledgeable when it comes to the coaching side of things. And I think he sees the tennis side of things very well in a lot of different areas and boxes. So I feel like he can really help me as a player.
Does it feel different to be with like a new person in a big tournament like this? Is there like your own sort of figuring out the dynamic, or?
I mean, there's not really a dynamic to figure out. I've been with him since the start of the Europe season, so we're pretty comfortable with each other and we're close now. But Yeah, in the beginning, of course. I mean, when you start working with someone new, it doesn't matter which role or who it is. Obviously, you have to get used to that, and everybody is different. But apart from that, not much else to say.
Got time for one more? Last one, yeah.
Just you mentioned the wrist earlier. I was just wondering, is that like, totally under control now? You're able to play with the same intensity that you'd want to in practice and matches as well.
Yeah. My wrist is fine now. All is good, and I've been feeling good for a while now. So really happy and relieved about that.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.